I, 20M, am struggling with my best friend, 20M, saying he was in love with me. So, my best friend, M20, and I, M20, have always had a super close relationship. Did everything together, slept in the same bed, told each other everything. It's always been magical when we're vibing. A few years ago, I came out to him and asked him if he wanted to date. He declined, and we stopped talking for a while. It's been super awkward recovering from that, but we're back in a place similar to how we were. Yesterday, we had this heated argument about what it means to get a prenup, and we both start attacking each other's position. It gets to the point where he asked me to leave. Instead, we talked for a second. He lamented over how he's never there for me, but I've always been there for him. That it hurts him to see me hide things and not be as open about my life. I've got some issues with trust, and it's physically painful for me to let others in. Anyways, during this, he talked about the first time we met, how he felt hanging around me, and that if I had asked him to date when we were younger, he'd have felt the same. Dude was in tears and hesitated before saying it. I didn't respond. I didn't know how to. Dude gave me a hug for the first time in years when I did leave. It took so long for me to get it out of my head that he is probably the only person I love. I ended up building my life around him before, and once he was gone, I was ready to die. I don't know what it is about him, but hearing that just crushed me a bit. I'm trying to figure out why he'd mentioned that. He's always been a very open book kind of dude, but he knows how I felt about him. I wish I could just forget it, but it's the only thing on my mind, in my dreams, etc. I know he identifies as straight, and of course I'll respect his relationship, but damn, I kind of wish I didn't hear that. I just wanted to get some advice. Too long didn't read. Best friend said that when we were younger he thought we were meant to be. It's 2021, he has a GF, and I'd what to do with this new info. I think your friend was trying to tell you how much he cares about you. I don't think he intended to wound you, although if he were more mature he might have realized it was not the right thing to say. You are only 20 years old. You have a long life and many opportunities for love ahead of you. Don't get hung up on your friend. Focus on self-improvement and meeting new people. You will find someone else before you know it. This is a tough one, my friend. I've been in love with straight friends twice before. In both cases it felt like what you described, like he was the only person who I'd ever love, like this was what was supposed to happen. But, Jesus Christ, your friend's comments take it to a whole different level. That must really hurt, and I'm sorry you have to go through it. My advice is to figure out how to move on. You can't control how your friend feels about you or his sexuality. Your brain will try to convince you that you can, but it's a dangerous lie. Maybe one day he will turn around and say that he really loves you after all. That would be nice. If there's one thing I've learned in my experiences with lost love, it's this: you can't stake your happiness on a bad bet. It only leads to needless pain. There's so many other paths to happiness that it makes no sense to waste yourself on a broken one. Of course this is easier said than done. We have powerful imaginations that will convince us again and again that we can make it work. I swear that this is a superpower for us gay men lol. Do whatever you have to do to disarm your imagination. Stop seeing your friend for a while. Focus on something else that gives you satisfaction: school, a hobby, art, other friends, dating other people. For me it was writing fiction that helped me out of my hole. Your feelings for your friend will probably never go away, but they will become much easier to manage when you know that you have other ways to be happy. Hope this helps. I know things feel hopeless right now, but they really are not. The world is big, life is long, and there's a lot of cute boys out there. Talk to him. Tell him how you feel. My M/25 girlfriend F/24 of 4 years just told her best friend about something I'm secretly into sexually, and I'm upset that it was spoken about in the first place. Am I overreacting? The title hits it clearly. We were just casually conversing and she brings up that I'm into some different things in the bedroom that I'm not completely comfortable with telling people, and I feel exposed, I guess. I have played my taboo off in best before, but deep down inside I'm very insecure about it, and I really just keep it to myself unless I'm around someone who shares the interest or at least isn't judgmental about it. But anyways, She has this friend over often and I just feel somewhat gross with myself knowing that her friend knows. I really told her in faith that it would just stay between us, but I feel a little betrayed and don't know how to tell her how I feel without looking overly sensitive or an asshole. Too long didn't read. GF tells her best friend about a taboo of mine and I don't know how to feel. She violated your trust by discussing something private with someone else. Did you talk to her about why she did this? That would be step 1, and I know if I were in your shoes whether the relationship continue or you broke up would depend greatly on what she said. Best case scenario, she acknowledges that she screwed up and contacts this other person to make sure they understand to never share it with anyone. Have you ever had a conversation with her before where you asked her not to discuss your private life? Many women talk a lot more detail with their female friends about sex than you would think, and in general, if you have strong feelings about that type of privacy, it should be let known before any breaches of your trust happen. This would be overstepping a relationship-breaking boundary for me. Did you ever tell her that you would prefer her not share it with anyone? I know you would think it should be a given, since you're in a relationship. I only ask because my best friend tells me almost everything about her relationship, including sexually explicit details. Now, I'm very open-minded and I've never intentionally judged or made a joke about what she and her boyfriend are into. That's just how open she is. Meanwhile, I'm a little more reserved and may not share the same details with her. I'm sure her boyfriend also doesn't know what details she has shared with me. Even though you can't change the past, I would just make sure she knows about how you feel about her sharing those details. I tell my best friend everything. Maybe that makes me weird. My friends have literally asked me about my sex life, and told me about theirs. It's just something we don't take very seriously, especially since we're kinky and already do some taboo stuff. Should I, 22F, reconsider where I stand with my boyfriend, 28M, after finding out he lied about his feelings for me? Too long didn't read. Saw other girls' nudes and hurtful comments about our early stage relationship on my boyfriend's iPad. I thought we were fine. How do I handle this? Background: first time posting, throwaway for anonymity, on mobile, all the disclaimers. I, 22F, have been seeing my boyfriend, 28M, since October 2019. We met through school and I fell almost instantly in love with him. He said he had noticed me from the very first day of school and thought I was the most gorgeous girl in our program, but couldn't find a way to talk to me because we had no classes together. However, I had just broken up with a long-term boyfriend before moving away for school, so we both agreed that we wouldn't get into a committed relationship right away. I'm a really outgoing person, so I had made some other really solid friendships, but being new to the city, I spent a lot of my free time with him. We went on dates to explore the city, see concerts, go out with friends, and I was under the impression that we were both having a lot of fun. Fast forward to Christmas 2019, I met his family and everyone assumed we were boyfriend/girlfriend. I asked him if he wanted to be my boyfriend, he said yes, and we've been extremely happy together since then. Even through the pandemic, we've bounced between living together and going long distance for up to 10 weeks with absolutely no issues. I would say he's my best friend, and we're extremely devoted to each other. He asked me to spend the semester in his hometown with him, because they have no COVID cases compared to our current city, which is under a major lockdown. Issue: I'm packing up for the move, and he asked me to bring his iPad. I charged it for him, and then I was curious to see if he had kept some pictures I sent him a while ago, so I opened his gallery. Note: I had zero reason to be suspicious. He doesn't have a password on his iPad, and we've always said we have no reason to hide each other's phones and stuff, so I wasn't doing this as any malicious invasion of privacy. Saw he had kept the pictures, which made me happy, but then my stomach absolutely dropped when I saw screenshots of other girls' nudes right next to them. It looked like they were just from Twitter/Instagram posts, so nothing personally sent to him, but then I also saw he had some screenshots of conversations from us just after Christmas in 2019. Now here's where I know I was an asshole. I had no right, but I went through his messenger, where he had sent the screenshots to one of his friends. The screenshots were examples of things I said that were big turn-offs, and he was talking about how he wanted more space from me because I was sweet, but he was getting resentful of me. This was just a week after we became official. In earlier messages, he talked about how I was clearly in love with him but he felt like he didn't want to be tied down, and he made fun of me for not playing the game and being too obvious about wanting to spend time with him. The most hurtful thing I read was that he was talking to another girl in our program when we met, and when his friend asked how his first night with me was, his response was that the sex was amazing, but the problem is it's not, other girl. Then his friends teased him about still being in love with the other girl, and he said he was. Obviously he never brought any of this up with me. I thought we were happy with each other, and clearly we must have been because everything has been perfect, at least on my end, for over a year now. My question: am I an idiot for falling in love too fast and not playing hard to get? I feel so immature and stupid for believing that I was really the only girl he was interested in at the beginning. I was so proud of how our relationship felt like a fairy tale, and now it feels like the beginning of that was a lie where he was just putting up with me because I was easy to get. It was a long time ago though, and a big part of me wants to just forget what I saw because in the end, he chose to stay with me and I have no reason to believe he's unhappy with our relationship. Maybe he was just playing it up to be cool in front of his friend, and I'm making a big deal over nothing. As for the nudes, I don't love it, but as long as they weren't personally sent to him, I feel like I can't be upset about them. Any insight into how I should approach this whole mess would be appreciated. I thought we had great communication, but now it feels like I'm packing up my whole life for someone who kept his true feelings hidden from me. Not playing hard to get is a sign of maturity. Wanting your partner to manipulate you and play games is a sign of immaturity. Should you be concerned that he is less mature and less honest than you thought he was? Yes. But it shouldn't make you feel at all bad about yourself. Anyhow, tell him what you found and talk to him about it. You thought you knew your boyfriend, but now you know you didn't know him as well as you thought you did. So, get to know him better and then decide if you're still interested in him. Fucking ouch. Yeah, fess up and have a big talk. Read his reactions. If they're defensive or mean or hurtful, take note. If they sound like bullshit, take note. If he really just seemed confused when you guys met and was confiding in a friend, take note. Ultimately, you've got to talk about it. I mean, how could you not, knowing what you know? We are all human and it can be difficult to determine the ones worth putting energy into and the ones that aren't. Listen to your gut. If it were me, I'd put a move on hold. It may sound drastic, but this is something I'd want to work through before getting into a situation in which I felt stuck in good luck. Love, green heart, you are enough, and his words/confusion don't mean you aren't. You're not an idiot for not playing games. Now you know he doesn't value honesty. How do you know he isn't playing a game with you? Trying to be cool in front of his friends? How old is he? Again, not an authentic person here. The only mistake I see is continuing to give him the time of day. Hang out long enough, he'll dump on your head.